Hi guys. Hi. Take six. I just can't seem to be happy with what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my own advice. And I don't know if you can see this. I'll tilt it. Maybe move it over here. I don't know. There you can. It says, I've decided that I am good enough. So um, this is an important kind of thing. It doesn't mean that you don't strive to be better, and it doesn't mean that we can't improve ourselves. We can always improve myself. But um, even with all my faults and all my failings, right now, right this minute, right here, this time, I am good enough. And so are you. So I want you to say that to yourself. Look in the mirror or see yourself or look in your camera. We all do that with our phones, don't we? Looking in our camera. And tell yourself right here, right now, this very moment, you are good enough. And you're doing what you can. And that's good enough. Okay? We can strive to be better. We can strive to improve. We can strive to learn. But right here, right now, you're good enough. I think a lot of us are kind of beating ourselves up about things and um, second guessing ourselves and worrying about things that we don't need to worry about. So tell yourself right here, right now, you're good enough. Okay? And I was going to do something a little different today because, and we will finish the feelings book. Don't worry about that. That will come. Um, but I wanted to share with you some poetry. And don't go, poetry is a lot of fun. I have friends who write poems. I write poems. Everybody should write poems. Um, I have a friend, Laura Hansen, who writes poetry and publishes books with her poetry, and they're lovely poems. And a lot of them are about the little hometown I grew up in. And so I really do appreciate them. Thank you, Laura. You're good enough too. Um, but this poem, this book of poetry is called The Trees Stand Shining, and it's Native American poetry. And I graduated from a tribal college, and I'm not a member of a tribe. I'm not trying to say that. But I graduated from a tribal college, and I taught on the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribes Reservation in South Dakota, and I taught in Akiak, Alaska, which was an Alaskan Native fishing village. Lovely, lovely place. And I've always had an affinity for Native American spirituality and philosophy and ideals, and the view that a lot of the First Nations have of our planet. And right now our planet is hurting. So it might be a good idea to start thinking about this. This book is out of print. It's really hard to find. This is about my fifth copy of this book. And I had to buy it off of Amazon. And I had to pay a pretty good price for it because out of print books are sometimes hard to find. So I think when I leave Kiev, oh, that rhymed. When I leave Kiev, I will make sure to take this book with me because I don't think I can afford to buy it again. Um, One of the things I do with my kids, and when I say my kids, I mean my students, because I don't have children of my own, but I have hundreds of students across the world. Some of who are now grown up and married and have kids of their own, but I have them look at the paintings. These are watercolor paintings, and I know many of you have pans of watercolors at home. So what I ask them to do is to maybe take a walk or look out the window if you can't take a walk, or even just close your eyes and imagine it and get out your watercolors and make your own watercolor painting. This one is the one on the back. I love this one. This one is beautiful. They're very impressionistic. And then they chose the paintings to kind of go with the poems. But if you do a painting, you could then maybe make a poem to go with your painting. That would be interesting, huh? Now I'm going to read the title poem from this book, The Trees Stand Shining. It was written by It's maybe a traditional poem from the Papago Nation, translated. And it says, "At the edge of the world, it is growing light. The trees stand shining. It is growing light." And I love that image of the trees standing and the light coming through them, and it looks like the trees are shining. What a beautiful image that creates. And another poem on this same page was written by, or is a traditional translation from a traditional song by the Chippewa, also known as the Ojibwa. And it's kind of appropriate for this time of year. And maybe it's a little bit of hope in this time of coronavirus, because maybe we can start seeing the end of this isolation. As my eyes search the prairie, I feel the summer in the spring. I like that idea. I can feel the summer in the spring. It's kind of the promise of warm days to come. Huh? So I challenge you to get out your pans of watercolors and make a watercolor painting and write a poem. And you could leave your poem in the comments below here, and I would love to read them. I would love to hear from you about what the poems that you write. But poems aren't always serious. Poems don't always rhyme, as we just saw. And poems aren't always serious. Poems are very condensed writing that convey an emotion or convey an image or engender an emotion. And that's what this poet does. This poet is Lois Lazinski. She does the pictures and the poems in these books. She does some really nice illustrations. I met Lois Lazinski at a teaching seminar a long time ago. I think it was in South Dakota. And she read her poems, and I was so inspired. I love her poetry, and because it's such fun. And she tends to call poems a boogie, because she says she gets these kind of riffs in her head, and they won't get out until she writes them down as a poem. And you can hear the rhythm in her poetry. And I love, she has little notes here, like start here. Do you see that? And it says, "A boogie is a dance, and a boogie is a jive, and a boogie's just another way of saying I'm alive. Boogie in the elevator, boogie in the street. Anything's a boogie if it has a beat. A boogie in a poem. You can boogie when you're blue, boogie when you haven't got another thing to do. Boogie on your bicycle, boogie in your bed. Always keep a bit of boogie going in your head. Poem, raw rhyme. You can do it anytime. Top dog, bottom dog, doggy in between. Rhyme about a dirty dog, rhyme about a clean. All the body listens, all the body hears. A poem isn't only for your doggy little ears. Feeling kind of crummy? Run a rhyme instead. Always keep a bit of boogie going in your head. Always keep a bit of boogie going in your head. Always keep a bit of boogie going in your head. Did you hear the boogie in that? The boogie is pretty cool. Another poem she has that I do all the time with my kids, and we've performed it and we've taught it to other people. And I love that it's such a wordplay, and it's called Muzza Muzza. And the trick to this is I say it and then you say it, but you have to say it exactly like I say it, okay? And I might use a funny voice, you never know. I might talk really, really fast, or I might talk really slow. So let's do this poem. Are you ready? I'll say it, you say it. Muzza Muzza. You say it. Quito Quito. Do not lando on my fito. Do not stingo. Make me twitchy. I go ouchie. I go itchy. Muzza quito, hey? Muzza quito, go away. Maza, maza, keto, keto. I am not a snack or Treato. And what I like about this poem is this one is she plays with the words. Instead of mosquito, she broke it into mosquito. You can play with words, and she adds an O at the end of words, and you can do that too. Now, I don't care if you're a grown up or you're a kid or a grandma or a grandpa or an aunt or an uncle. It would be really cool to write a poem. Play with some words, get them down. It'll be fun. You can even like stretch out a word like she did here. Laziness. See what you can come up with. I would love to see that from you. If you write a poem, make sure and leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear it. I would love to read your poetry. Get out your watercolors, do some paintings. Click subscribe too down below. I'm aiming for 10, 11, 12 subscribers. Right now I have 9, I think it is. Do you know, some have like hundreds of thousands. I'm aiming for 12. We can do this, right? Um, I hope you're having a good day. Remember, always remember, please, you are good enough right now, right here, right this moment. You, you, you are good enough. Okay? I'll talk to you again later and we'll finish that book on feelings.